Welcome to Next Gen's coverage of the 2012 WIFDIF World Ultimate and Guts Championships. I'm Lou Burris. With me is Chase Sparling-Beckley. It's mid-morning of day 5 here in Osaka, Japan. We've got a fantastic game in the open division for you this morning. Number 5, Australia, comes in undefeated and showing real quality so far this week with some decisive wins over European powers Sweden and Germany. Up against the Dingoes, number 2, USA, represented by San Francisco's Revolver. As expected, the United States comes into this match undefeated and untested, having outscored all their opposition 85-20. Chase, what are the Aussies' chances?
Well, the Aussies, as you said, have been playing great in this tournament, and I think they've really got an opportunity here to show what they have against what is to be, of course, the biggest test they've had so far in this tournament, and maybe certainly gain grounds, but potentially sneak a win from this USA team, which I think has been so far cruising a little bit on cruise control through this tournament. The Aussie offense brings an incredibly balanced attack. We've looked at the leaderboard. They don't have anyone on the leaderboard, and I think but they're winning, and I think that speaks to how many different weapons they have coming into the tournament.
Holmes,
Absolutely.
Blakely, Gardner.
I think against this USA team, they really need to get big games out of Ken Shepard and John O. Holmes. Number 10 and number 14, those guys are going to possess the disc and really need to throw the extra pass against this tenacious defense.
Things are not going to be as open for the Aussies as they've been in some of their other games.
Not at all. What about Team USA, Lou?
We're going to see the same space and isolation offense that we've seen from them in the past. It's a little less structurally disciplined. I think as this team has gotten more experienced, they don't need that crutch of the structure because they just know each other so well. They know each other's tendencies.
A lot of chemistry.
A lot of great chemistry. And so as you're looking at this Team USA on the field, you're going to see what looks muddy, but out of that muddiness will come some clarity. They do get number 29, Bart Watson, back for this tournament, or for this game. He was missing earlier in the tournament, and he'll just take a lot of pressure off, particularly Cahill and Kittredge. Chewing yards, delivering the big pass.
How are you now?
United States is on D.
Nothing?
Coach Gesquire talking with his line. You want to pick out their number 27 on the right side of the line. That's Ashlyn Joy. He's number 8 right now on the overall leaderboard, which is incredible for a team.
He's having an awesome tournament, especially in comparison to some of what you would traditionally think of the huge contributors on this Team USA roster.
Cahill, Watson,
Kittredge.
So he's got Joy's got 13 assists so far to go with 4 goals.
Now?
And there's some guys missing from this game.
Yeah, I think the Aussies are really on defense going to have to find some production out of someone other than Max Wheeler. He's out. I think it's the kind of thing he could play this kind of game, but feeling how long a tournament this is, really feeling like he needs to take a break for this game.
Holmes with the disc. Barr. Blakely. Ken Shepard. Guarded by James. Pick in the middle of the field. Ken Shepard with the disc. Member of one of the royal families of Australian Ultimate. His brother Owen Shepard's captain of the D-line. A lot of discussion here, a little slow getting the disc checked back in. Floater draws a big crowd.
Strip called.
Barr's going to call a strip.
A goal. Ken Shepard got away with one right there.
Absolutely.
That was, a tough upliner in general, even if he throws it right to the chest.
Yes.
But gets caught by a little bit of wind. We're seeing less wind today than we've seen, but it's certainly still a factor down on the field. Pops it up, and Team USA just overshoots it.
Well, they all make the same play. All 3 defenders are going for the catch block. All of them go up simultaneously. All misread it.
Nobody puts a body on the Aussies.
No. And Barr just gets lucky. It just comes right down to
right
where he's
place at the right
standing.
time.
Yep.
Absolutely. And, you know, I think if you're Australia here, there were some good things at point, certainly. The first 5-6 passes, their offense moved pretty smoothly 3/4 of the way down the field. On the stoppage, they get hurt a little bit.
Worrisome that they weren't able to move the disc to the weak side of the field out of the stoppage.
Yeah.
That's a key piece of Revolver's defense, is to contain
And
Not
the
now.
crowd.
and crowd, and they did there. Revolver's D got everything they wanted except the block.
Except the block.
Aussies on their first D point. Simon to Cahill. Watson goes right away to Kittredge. Little
I
misread
think
there by Bo
Bo
Kittredge.
slowed down. He was maybe thinking about coming under, like he was going to get a pump fake there from Bart.
I'm live.
Great opportunity here for the Dingoes.
Andrew Jackson back to
Yeah.
Pillar. Dowell. High ball to Evans. Collision. Dowell. Pillar. Looks off a huck to Middleton. Too far for Andrew Jackson. Nice reset D by Revolver. Cahill wants to slow down.
I'm a little surprised, actually, that Denyer got looked off going up the line. I think he made a great cut, and he's a big body. Sealed off his defender well. Joe Pillar had to throw a really tough swing.
Simon misses on the inside out to Watson. The wind's really come into play here. Same crosswind that we saw 2 days ago. Really strange swirling wind down on the field. Hodgson, Evans.
Oh!
Wow. There's a travel called, and Middleton's going to be robbed of an absolutely fantastic grab.
Over the top of Josh Wiseman.
Yeah. So just going to come back to Denyer. Great job by Wiseman. Great position. Too much size from the Australians.
Wow.
Hodgson goes again to the same matchup. Too far in the wind. I like that. That's a great look from a D team offense. You know you've got a size mismatch. Don't try to play possession. Take the shot. It doesn't work here.
The second time.
The second time it didn't work. It worked the first time.
And I think by lots of metrics, the second throw was a better throw. Just situationally,
Yes.
it was not.
And again, it's the wind here.
The wind's a big factor,
It's
certainly.
giving.
Not only that, Lou, but we saw a little bit of rain before this game.
Yeah.
Every time the disc touches the turf here, I think it's an added element of chaos, making that disc just a little bit wet, especially on those first 3-4 throws.
Cahill. Wiseman. Watson. Pushed Anderson.
Goal, Team USA. I think you saw there, especially out of Robbie Cahill, Team USA saying, let's calm down, let's throw that extra pump fake and not throw the huck, use it to get open coming underneath.
Really a creative throw by Josh Wiseman. He throws the outside in backhand down the sideline. Tiny, narrow little window there to Watson. But he puts it right there where he knows Watson's going to be able to get up and get it. Lovely throw from the veteran.
And a great effort by that Dingo defender making that window even narrower. I mean, an athletic play to give, to run Bart down and make an effort, but he's a great receiver. Phenomenal hands.
I want to talk about this wind for a second. When we were talking with the Canadians after their game in a similar wind, they were saying that
In the stadium.
in the stadium where the wind is coming over the stands and kind of around the stands, that the side of the field near the stands, the wind is running south to north. The side of the field away from the stands, it's running the other direction, north to south. So there's not like a clear upwind, downwind, but rather one side of the field is one way and the other side of the field is the other way.
And it's really been the kind of recipe that has confounded throwers all tournament long.
Levis. Keenan gonna hold it on the pick call. Really balanced attack already from the Australians. 4 passes, 5 players with touches. Keenan. Gardner. Back to Keenan, the receiver coming back to act as a handler here. Tatum, defended by Wynn. Tough mark from Wynn. Tatum with the jump ball.
Ouch.
Fundamental
And
mistake by
Australia
Travis.
Again, coming down with some trash from their O team in the end zone. They're really hanging on with some heads-up play, certainly, but luck and a little help from the Team USA defense on those jump balls.
Little inexperience there on the part of Travis. Always want to catch or block. There's no question that he can catch this. And particularly in the wind, tip discs do strange things. And so you'll see this. Here comes the jump ball.
Gets a big piece of it and right to Dowell.
Yeah.
And Dowell isn't the kind of guy you want to give more than one chance.
No.
Ever.
No. But again, 2 possessions for the Australian offense. I thought that in both cases they did a really nice job of working to midfield, brick mark kind of area, and then making sort of uncharacteristically sloppy choices, but getting away with it.
Yeah, and especially going away from the disc with a shorter field. I'd be interested to see if their offense would work a little bit better. They'd have more of an opportunity to throw to their tall runners going away if they made those choices, before half field.
Watson. Wiseman in the lane.
Great D. And
Miscommunication between Watson and Simon. Evans in transition, finds Pillar. Evans. Shepard. Oh, he goes with a big scuba over the top.
tough choice.
Absolutely confounding choice there by Evans. He's got his veteran defensive captain open for the 10-yard swing and instead throws a scuba into a crowd. I'm not sure what he saw there.
It's a hero goat choice. In this case, he's the goat.
Simon. Watson. Schlachet. Heston. Wiseman wide open. Kittredge. Simon. A little harder than I think he hoped.
Josh Wiseman has a bit of a speed mismatch here. I wouldn't be. They don't need it.
They don't need it.
Going away on that huck, Wiseman was open by at least 15 yards.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was confusion or what, but he really, that wasn't a great throw. A little bit floaty coming from Team USA, able to just run it down and pancake it.
And I love this throw from Robbie Cahill. He makes it soft. No trouble.
Awesome angle on the disc.
Yeah, no trouble for
Tons of
Schlachet.
spin.
Yeah. Using the wind there.
Using the wind.
Going the other way. I think they're missing Max Wheeler there. Max Wheeler is not going to make that choice.
No. And I think, in particular, it has to do with the type of player / thrower that he is.
Yeah.
He's not a stand-up, break down a mark with big length kind of guy. He's a throw-and-go kind of guy.
Yeah.
And I think that's exactly what Australia needs in that situation.
Yes.
Throwing, going straight to the end zone, getting a great opportunity at an easier look.
Don't give the revolver offensive players a chance to rest, recover, find their bearing. Anytime you're a D team, you can get up and run.
Even if you don't score, you're tiring out the other team.
Yep. So we're on serve, 2-2 USA versus Australia. Gibson with the big outside in pull. Gardner. Very deep set from the Aussies. Levis. Holmes. Tatum. Levis. Gardner. Tatum. Goes big to Holmes. Not enough sit on the throw.
And again, I think that's really exactly the position, in my opinion, that Australia doesn't want to huck from.
And yet they've done it 3 times.
And yet they've done it 3 times with success, but
really
not really with
tenuous
success.
I mean, in a way, that's actually the 3rd turnover they've thrown
from that position. And I think that throw is a great throw if they're 15 yards further back.
Yes. Inside out to Gibson. Lots of guys open deep. If it sits, it'll be a great adjustment by Greenwood. Levy, too far for Greenwood.
Oof.
Wasted opportunity of a absolutely brilliant
Greenwood
catch by
with
Eric
an
Greenwood.
awesome trailing edge, falling away kind of catch.
Coming over his head, he makes a late adjustment.
Wow.
Beautiful catch. Back in play here with Ken Shepard picking it up on the sideline. The Australian offense a bit stagnant. He goes deep. 2 defenders there for Revolver. Never comes back in, and John Levy's able to clean it up.
Fortunately for Dingoes, Levy touches it. Oh, excuse me, foul called by Ken Shepard.
Yep.
It's coming back.
Ryo Kawaoka on the mark there. And deep set vertical stack from the Australians. Dowell. Shepard. Levis. Holmes. Levis. Levis controlling the offense. Blakely. Gardner. We have foul there on Kirk Gibson. No contest.
There was an interesting matchup earlier in the point. Kirk Gibson on Tim Levis, and Levis still able to really churn with his legs. He's a much taller guy. I think a lot of people think he's going to be a runner away from the disc, but he's really controlling the offense from behind it.
And Gardner gets around Gibson, seals the mark with his shoulder. 3-2 Australia.
I think we saw much better offense there by Australia.
Yeah. They were patient in the end zone. We didn't see what we'd seen on those other 3. I'm not sure I'd call it a red zone possession, but a mid-range
Black
possession.
zone.
Yeah. We didn't see them taking that risky away look. They're patient. They throw an extra couple comeback cuts, then get that nice backhand around that they used a lot on that point for the goal.
And you know, I think proving so far early in this game that they're willing to throw that against Team USA and have success with it is going to give the Australians an opportunity now to throw that big pump fake and get those underneath yards to get them into the end zone.
Australians on D here. Despite the win today, folks, with the 6 points in, we have yet to see zone. Be interesting to see what sort of defensive choices the Australians make. Same big roll pull, vertical stack, Watson in the middle of the field. Right away to Anderson, and he drops it.
That's a bit of a tough play call, I think. Bart Watson with a great forehand, but this wind is going to be really rough on forehand hucks going that direction.
Shepard. Pick call. Shepard looks for Hill, can't find him.
It might partly be the rain here. It's acting like a sail. I'm going to take that.
And a catch block by John O'Holmes. And wisely takes a timeout, I think, sensing the gravity of the point and the position they now have on the field.
And great block by Holmes.
Oh, just
The timeout there, though, a little bit of that veteran showmanship from John O'Holmes, just saying,
I just
got the sweet block, timeout.
I don't think he even looked.
No, he didn't at all.
Wow.
But while he didn't look, you all should take a look at this word from our sponsor. So welcome back to the 2012 WIFDIF World Ultimate and Guts Championships. It's 3-2 Australia with an opportunity for a break. Out of the timeout, Holmes hit Andrew Jackson on a little swing pass, immediately fouled by Cahill. Disc will be coming back in. Australia opportunity for a break. Floater across the field, Holmes. Scuba, Dow.
And that's a break for the Dingoes, and they're really excited about it.
And the difference about that Scuba from the Evan Scuba we saw earlier is that Holmes is going to, off the big swing, he's going to draw the defense in with the backhand fake. Poacher sits in, tons of room, and a big target.
And really a well-executed throw. Put enough edge on it that it would sit out there. Clearly help from Dowell and a great catch, but he made it catchable in this wind.
Break from Australia. Uncharacteristic sloppiness from Team USA.
I think, you know, they haven't been challenged yet this tournament, really in a meaningful way. And this is a really great character opportunity for Team USA to respond. Certainly if there's any team in the world that can do it, Revolver is that team, and they're going to do it behind Tenacious D. But the offense here for Revolver has now given, for Team USA, has given their defense an opportunity. They've said, hey, we need your help.
I think in addition to the quality of the Australian defense, it's this strange wind. We've seen Simon with 2 throwaways, a drop from Sherwood. Those mistakes are all at least partially attributable to this wind in the stadium. Big floater to Kittredge. Crowd gathers. Too big. Simon. Kittredge. Wiseman. 3-4 USA, down still to Australia.
And I'm tempted to say,
Bad choice.
but he's a big target. And Bo stands it up like it's nothing.
It looked like it's going to be a contested jump ball the whole way, and then Bo's up there catching it before anybody else is even thinking about jumping.
You know, something he gains from just the ridiculous amount of athleticism that he brings, and his jumping ability in particular, coupled with his speed, he can get to the spot early, and he's not making his highest jump when he comes down with a disc like that. He's catching it almost right in front of his face.
And controlled.
With 2 hands in a really controlled way in this wind. And I think that, has been one of the things that has brought him, you know, to the top of the game right now in the men's division.
Great pressure relief valve for this Revolver offense. To know that we're struggling. Typically when a team is struggling with possession, they try to be more conservative. When you've got Bo Kittredge, you can just throw the floater take the free 50 yards.
And that even wasn't much of a floater. It kind of bladed around. Interesting throw from Robbie Cahill, but they get it done.
Immediate miscue is going to give Revolver their second opportunity for a break. Ashlyn Joy, 13 assists so far, looking for a 14th. Miscommunication, point block by Barr. Right away finds Glover. Gardner. Keenan
Into traffic. Keenan comes away with it.
takes the hit, hangs on.
And, you know, that's a body mold we've seen from several of these offensive players from Australia. They're big dudes.
Yes.
Not only tall, but big shoulder, and they're not afraid of contact.
And double miscues lead to a nice huck. Two little passes later, we're going to see that we've got the solid Keenan in a crowd. Feel safe throwing there, knowing he's going to be able to hold off the defenders.
And it looks like Team USA going to take a timeout here.
Actually, the Australians have taken this timeout.
Interesting.
I think that they want to talk over maybe some defensive adjustments that they'd like to make. While they're talking, we're going to take a short break. Back in a moment. Welcome back to the 2012 WIFDIF World Ultimate and Guts Championships. Australia up 5-3 on Team USA, pulling with an opportunity for another break. Lots of sloppy play from the Americans.
Yeah, you know, Lou, Australia took that timeout, but I think it was timely for Team USA. And really, they're going to want to talk about what is going on with their handler set and these short field turnovers. They've already got 4 short field turnovers today from both their O team, which is traditionally just so stingy with the disc, as well as their D team after they're making good plays. I think they need to dial that in if they're going to get back in this game. Clearly not a huge deficit, especially not for Team USA.
And so early in the game
but
still.
they're so, yes, but the Dingoes are on the rise right now. They're really feeling good about where they are.
Pillar with the pull. Watson to pick up. Horizontal set. Cahill. Sherwood wide open. Walks to the catch. Spectacular throw from Robbie Cahill.
And was it Isherwood there? If I'm Isherwood, you know, a long ways away, yes. But just that added little element of effort, especially after Team USA just chooses to kind of walk, he might hear footsteps, you might get something there. I don't agree with the with giving up on that
With just giving
play.
up on it. What we saw from Robbie Cahill on that throw was an incredible amount of revolution on the throw, on the snap on that throw. Forehand, outside in, into the inside out space. But so much spin provides stability on a windy day. And he spots it right on the sidelines, front corner of the end zone, and it just waits.
And clearly, a much better throw than the previous one to Kittredge. On the previous big blade backhand, he's got a great receiver. The
Yes.
percentages are still high, but he really dialed that one up.
Junk from the Americans. Perhaps a 1-3-3 type set. Sherwood to mark. Tatum. Dahl. Tatum. Shepard.
There's the transition from Team USA.
Blakely. Dahl. Barr finds Tatum, 10 yards out. All the way across the field to Holmes, it's going to be too far. There's that rushed.
In the black/red zone, absolutely.
They do such a great job through the zone, through the transition, all the way to within 5 yards of the goal line, then just overreaching and impatient.
I think you can even get that disc there to John O. Holmes with 2 more passes. Throwing the dump, throwing the swing, he's still going to
be wide open. Gibson hangs too high for Sherwood. Crowd gathers. I think the D eventually will be credited to Owen Shepard. Shepard with the disc. Holmes, it's too high. There's a pick. Under whiff-diff rules, this is going to maintain possession for the Australians because the pick was called before Shepard had released the disc. Shepard marked by Bayless.
The Dingoes here in a pretty deep stack
About
with
8.
only 1 handler out.
Isolate Holmes in the front. Floater across the field. Sherwood in for the block. Out of bounds. Gibson walking to pick it up.
Tatum got up a little slow there for the Dingoes. It looks like he's fine. I think he just got piled on by Mark Sherwood.
Gibson to the front cone. Marked by Holmes. Kawoka. Levy. Kawoka puts it in the ground. Barr. Tatum. Shepard. And Tatum, who'd been having a pretty tough game up to that point, he already sitting on 2 turnovers, throws a lovely touch backhand around the defender, finds Shepard right on the goal line.
Yeah, that throw looked like it confounded Pat Bayless just a little bit. He felt like it was out there enough he could break away from Owen Shepard, or sorry, Ken Shepard, to go get a sort of out
to get a block out of
flat,
space.
Get a block instead of running with him to try and get a block at the point of the catch.
Yes.
I think he just got turned sideways a little bit. In the end, really an easy grab for Shepard.
2 possessions wasted for a revolver on D. Structurally, they look good. They're doing what a D team wants to do, which is to get out and run. But just uncharacteristic mistakes. And right now, Coach Gesquire is as angry as I've ever seen him with the American D team. He's got the entire D team huddled up, addressing, I would assume, the possession issues that they've been having.
And it really has only, to my taste, been just throwing and catching errors.
Junk look from Australia. Wiseman, Cahill. Australians counting. Here comes a transition. Watson. Push pass. Great D from Travis. Pillar. Evans. To a diving Jackson.
That is a really confident around flick. Didn't even think about it. Just gets the up line and counter flow right away.
Now, we've been getting on the Australians for these choices.
Oof, we have. I like that was low, and he saw the alley he was going to throw in, though. He wasn't throwing it over the top of a stack.
Yes. The difference, I think, with that one is that it was a short throw. He was able to use the wind to get the disc to sit, and there were no revolver defenders in the area.
And I think really being able to sort of eye up quickly and confidently and release quickly and confidently, but seeing the way that that disc was going to travel, being able to test up the wind and have it curve right into the hands of his receiver. That was just an incredibly confident throw and a really big play here for the Dingoes.
Let's go back to the block. Great transition. Really nice D by Owen Shepard on the reset. High in the count. Watson throws a little bit of a prayer there. Big Travis comes in, gets the block. 2 turnovers for Watson. 2 breaks for Australia. And they're sitting on a very surprising 3-goal lead, 7-4. Cahill coming to the brick. Kittredge.
Foul on the mark.
Tough mark from Dow. Kittredge kind of looks around, doesn't have anything, takes the foul call. Schlag. Hodgson with the foul. Cahill. Watson to Wiseman. Great throw by Watson into the wind.
Canliff made
A valiant bid.
a valiant bid. I'm not sure he had a lot of a shot there.
Can't give Wiseman this much separation. Little stutter step. Lots of space.
And he might have been closer than at first look from up here in the broadcast booth. Again, just an effort play.
Yes.
And I think that's the kind of thing that right now has gotten,
and is going to sustain them throughout this game.
you know,
To just at least send the message to their own team and to Team USA,
we're selling out for this.
we're selling out for this game.
One of the things about Team USA, they maybe make adjustments, in-game adjustments. And we talked about this before in the Germany game, where Germany came out really looking good on offense and defense. Team USA adjusts. Germany adjusts, Team USA adjusts again, and that third adjustment is just too
much.
hard. I think if you're Coach Dutchy here, you really, you want to program that first adjustment right now.
But they're getting blocks. They're just not putting them in, and it's execution stuff, which they struggled with in the Germany game. Barr. Dahl. Shepard. Pick called on the handler set. 4 players back for Australia, 3 in the lane. Force middle from James. High in the count. Moon ball. Dow has an opportunity, misses it.
Foul called. Nope, no foul. Yes, foul called.
I think there's a
Excuse me.
foul called by Gardner on Wynn on a push in the stack before the Hail Mary. Wynn's not going to contest. He's going to say stalling 0. Lucky break for Australia. Nice reset D from Travis, I think leading to that jump ball. Barr. Pick in the stack. Very deep set from the Australians.
Ken Shepard is kind of allowing James to sit out in the lane here and take away that break look for them. You'd really love to be able to see him burn Team USA on that play.
The Australians are so comfortable, though, operating at a distance from the disc. The front of their stack is 20 25 yards off disc. Keenan. Shepard. Barr. Dowell defended by Cochran. Nice battle between two big men. Strength wins over speed in this case. Dowell using his experience to hold off Cochran as Cochran tries to make a move to get around him.
And Matt Dowell is really one of those big-time receivers from Australia. He's been around forever. Maybe not as much of the jumping ability as he used to have. He used to be just a beast.
But look how strong he is.
But look how strong he is, able to hold off a younger,
faster,
really faster and more athletic player in a lot of ways with his cagey veteran sensibility.
But right as Cochran makes his move to go by, Dowell feels it,
makes the adjustment,
steps over just a quarter step. Great job by the vet.
Really heads up play.
Australia here up a pair of breaks, and they started with the disc, so they're up 3 goals. They're up 8-5. They have an opportunity to get a third break to take half. Would be a very impressive first half for the Australians.
And I almost feel like, you know, you don't look down on the field and see the Team USA O team panicked by any means.
Sure, no.
Maybe there's starting to be a sense of urgency about the way that they're playing, but they are cool as a cucumber out there.
Which is the characteristic of this team.
Absolutely. They know it's a long game.
Watson. Evans on D. I think we're going to see a foul call from Evans on the push-off. A lot of body early. Evans is going to... A lot of discussion. And goal's going to stand. Sherwood's going to, I think, get away with a push there.
Yeah, that was, you know, it's always hard to tell. Two people running.
And there's a lot of contact
There's a lot
early.
of contact. I think the mistake that gets made there is to lift the arm.
And push. Right?
Instead of really just right there. Instead of using his butt a little bit more or shoulder to just kind of turn and seal.
Second physical battle on a Huck goal in a row. It's fun ultimate to watch, for sure. But after some discussion about the physicality of the play, the Australians decide to just let it go, let it stand. I like that. I mean, the Australians want to play physical. They want to play physical on the mark. They want to play physical. You know, we saw Dowell play physical on his catch. And in a way it's saying, yeah, we're going to play physical. We're going to let you play physical. I think that they think a physical game is to their advantage, even though it may not have been to their advantage on that play.
And you saw John Holmes come over and talk to his young defender.
And say, let it go.
And maybe say, let it go.
Yeah. Okay. Canner with the pull.
OB pull.
It just kills the momentum of the D squad.
And for a tenacious, what I can only assume will be Mandy right here.
Yes.
Trying to steal a breakaway. You'd love to have that kind of element of surprise, that momentum going forward.
Glover. Levis. Nice D downfield. Gardner. Another backhand around to Tatum.
Foul called.
That looked like it was a miscommunication, but
I think Levis felt the foul, called the foul,
and broke his cutoff right as the throw is being released. So we see Gardner in discussion there with Sherwood.
Sorry, Gardner.
But it's going to come back to Tatum. Interesting personnel note here as we watch the turnover. That's going to come back. It's still going to maintain as Australia's possession. Team USA has brought Cahill in to play D here. going into half. Tatum goes across the field to Dowell to test Cahill. Nice D by Cahill. Forces the Australians to go up early. Tom James with the disc. Kittredge also in on D. Sherwood looks off Gibson, finds Canner. Gibson. Canner stretching the field. Kittredge. Gibson. Offense settles. Kittredge. Looks to Joy.
Ooh,
Too
just out of reach.
far for Ashland Joy. It
And
looked
he's-
great until the very end.
Oof. We've seen that a lot more from Bo Kittredge, too, striking to the end zone with his throws. And I think he's had an element of success, certainly this tournament, but just a little too far for Ashland Joy.
And you know that throwaway is driving Coach Gesquire crazy. He brings in his two big offensive guns in Cahill and Kittredge. He's got Kittredge with the disc on the goal line, and he throws a turnover. Barr. Bobbled. Levis drops it on the sideline. Cahill walks to it. Kittredge in isolation. Sherwood. Gibson. Kittredge.
Excellent strike there by Kurt Gibson.
And the star power gets the break they were looking for.
Just too much to overcome there, I think, for the Australians. Great defense. In certain ways, they did get a little bit of what they're looking for, but the wind kind of pops that throw up. Too much to handle.
I would take this as we're going to look here at the throw from Gibson to great window, great speed, great thrower. I would actually go back to the possession before when they threw the floater. It's that same mid-range
Maybe 45, 40 yards out of the end
jump
zone.
ball.
Yeah.
They had some opportunities earlier in the point from 50, 60 yards out when they had cutters in isolation in space that they chose not to throw. But then here they throw a weak side floater into a crowd.
You know, what's interesting is every single one of those throws has come from almost an identical spot, which is on the sideline, far side, throwing to the far side of the field.
Yeah.
They are much more dangerous when
And
they have
open
that
side
disc.
throws.
And open side throws. They're much more dangerous when they have that disc in the middle of the field because it opens up that break lane. And they've been killing it on the break lane.
Holmes, Barr. And I'm not sure if there was a kick here on the throw from Holmes to Barr, but Holmes is holding his hand as he comes off.
This could be a very big moment for the Dingoes.
Hopefully he can shake that off. Yep. Bayless going for the kick block is going to come up and catch Holmes in the wrist. Gardner. Shepard. Goes to Dowell, defended by Cochran. Too short, too low. Marty Cochran's got to catch that
Got
disc.
to catch that disc. Foul called by Sam Canner on a really tough mark by Denyer. Excuse me, Barr. Excuse me, Keenan.
Nice reset D. And a great block by Gardner on Russell Wynn. Keenan with the disc on the goal line. And he miscues, gives it right back. Watson picks it up in transition. Sherwood. Watson. Sherwood. Offense slows for Revolver.
And there's a call downfield.
another Aussie turnover looking for a goal. Simon looks off win deep. Confusion. Third Simon turnover of the game. Shepard. Hammer to the end zone.
I'm not totally sure what he was looking at there.
So that's 3 turnovers. This point for the Australian O squad. All 3 on shots to the end zone.
You know, that previous point, I like picking up the disc and going for fast tempo. I'm not sure I like
The choice
how
that he
difficult that throw was. You know, if you're going to go up tempo, you really want to do what USA is doing right here, which is throwing very easy, quick passes.
Watson. Wynn, Sherwood, Dowell, Cochran all in on the play. 1 on 3, Dowell comes up big. And he's pinged his shoulder. He called for the stoppage, and he's hurting.
So 2 tough losses this point for the Dingoes.
Great choice by Watson, but he just hangs the throw up in a crowd.
And again, Dowell gets in there with a big body.
Holds off the one guy he's got to battle for size, again winning against Cochran. He's able to knock it away before Sherwood or Wynn could go up.
Wow.
Okay. So in a perhaps unnoticed exchange, they bring in Dowell for Dowell. Matt going out,
And
Ant coming in. Tatum. Shepard. Fantastic double block by Sherwood, and Watson's going to walk in. What a play from Mark Sherwood.
Wow. I think maybe saw the throw before.
Well,
Or
the
previous
Australians
throw.
have been throwing so many backhand rounds. A smart
High
defender.
releasey.
Yep.
Sherwood keeps his hand up and comes back with an amazing block.
Here it is. Recognizes, block, catch. And this time the Americans get a lovely transition out of the short field block. Throw, goal. I like what Coach Gesquire has done here in bringing in his offensive stars to play D and help the offense on the turnover.
And I think the second part of that is really specifically where they've shined.
Yes.
You saw a little bit less quick turnovers
Yes.
from the Team USA defensive offense. And you're seeing that calm, kind of collected sensibility that Watson, having Bo Kittredge on the field,
Yes.
and Robbie Cahill bring to their O squad.
They haven't been flawless.
They have not
Kittredge
been
and
flawless.
Watson both had turnovers, but I liked both their turnovers. Both of them were open throws that they just missed. Gibson. 8-8. We are back on serve. The Australians looking to hold on here at the end of the half. Evans. Shepard, they brought in the D team. Evans. And that's going to be out of bounds. Wait. Dowell was hoping it might hang on the sideline.
It almost looks as though it might turn over and then catches that second gust of wind.
Second dicey
Sails
turnover
into
from
the
the young Evans. They had some nice offense. He had a nice exchange there with Shepard going up the line, and then throws an uncatchable ball. Okay, Gibson, Kittredge in isolation, defended by Dowell. Kawoka, Gibson. No hesitation. Kittredge runs away from Dowell. James not in. Looks off Kittredge. Fights through to Kawoka. Great, powerful backhand from James. Goes into the mark, seals, finds Kawoka. 3 breaks in a row, 4 straight points for USA, and they take half 9, 8 Australians on their heels.
Going into this halftime for Australia, their heads have to be reeling.
Yes.
They had a really great thing going, and here you see Tom James throwing a powerful backhand like the mark's not even there, just shoving him out of the way with his shoulder.
Yeah.
I think there's enough contact there by both players that no one's going to call a foul.
Yes.
Unless Tom does. Chooses not to, opts to just get it there, goal. If you're Australia, what do you say here, Lou?
They've got to address the misguided shots into the end zone. Take those off the board. They're not going to bank all of them against this revolver D.
Ben,
But
can I
if
mention
they
a couple
bank
things now?
even a third of them, they're going into half up 9-7, maybe even 9-6. Instead, again and again, they're taking these iffy passes, and the revolver D is just too good. We saw a very similar situation when we watched them play the Portland team on their pre-tour. At that time, I thought it was a little sloppiness from their Australia play, where having pulled all the best Australian players, they can get away with throwing those kind of jump balls. So far this tournament, they really had cleaned that up. They've been playing wonderful, flawless ultimate. And yet, here on the highest stage against the best team they've played so far, they've fallen back into those old habits.
Okay.
Absolutely, and I think one of the other things they're great on their D squad when they're playing defense and they get to pick the matchup.
Yeah.
But when Team USA is bringing their offensive players onto their D squad and then playing offense, Australia doesn't get to pick the matchups that they want.
And Kittredge killing him in
Kittredge
space.
Killing him in space.
Okay, so we're at halftime here, folks. Team USA, 4 goals in a row to go up 9-8. We'll be back to finish this game in the second half in just a moment. Welcome back to 2012 WIFDIF World Ultimate and Guts Championships. We're at the beginning of the second half of Team USA versus Team Australia with a late push. Team USA, 4 goals in a row, goes into the half up 9-8. Chase, what adjustments is Team USA going to make?
Well, you know, Lou, we saw Team USA right before their run. We saw Coach Gasquire bring his D team in to talk about their offense. Speaking with him at the half, what he said, he sort of told them in that huddle is they want to boost their tempo on offense. Right now they're getting caught in kind of some difficult places.
Staring down the lanes.
Staring down the lanes, and they want to look at those lanes for 1, maybe 2 seconds, check down all their throwing options, and move the disc quickly. On their run, when they were playing offense, we saw them doing that great.
And they brought some O guys in to make that, to facilitate that process.
O guys in to facilitate that process, but I would expect to see them really push the tempo again when they get opportunities for their D team to play offense.
I talked at halftime with Australian cutter Angus Keenan, and he attributed their difficulties just to poor choices in the red zone. Now, he didn't name names, but looking at the stat sheet, Tatum, Shepard, Gardner, 3 handlers for Australia, each of sitting on 3 turnovers. That's 9 discs given away by the Australian handlers. They can't be that sloppy in the second half.
No, they really can't, Lou. And, you know, we really need to see from Australia if they can bring back 2 of the guys that they lost, maybe even at the same point, John O'Holmes and Matt Dowell, to bring a little bit more, in particular from John O'Holmes, of that calm, collected ability to throw and then move with the disc that I think Australia has made its trademark on offense at this tournament.
They've done a great job moving the disc vertically. They've struggled to find the kind of lateral movement that you need to utilize when you're in the red zone. But they're on defense here to start. Swung to Cahill. Great D on Watson. Schlag. And Cahill drops it. Shepard immediately to check it in. Looks to Hodgson. Boom.
Goal Dingoes. Wow.
Robbie Cahill.
Right away. With a really uncharacteristic mistake from Robbie Cahill. I think he was just turning the corner too quick.
Some of the credit there has to go to the fantastic Australian defense on Bart Watson in the lane. Bart made maybe 4 moves there, unable to get open, forces the reset between Schlag and Cahill, which then is bungled. And we see that D right here as Bart moves, can't get open. I think Cahill was already looking away.
I think he was looking away too.
Great move by the veteran Shepard to just get the disc right in way, go to his one-on-one. He knows he has Hodgson and nobody else in the vicinity.
And Hodgson is a total speedster.
He's so fast, yeah.
You get him on that lateral cut, and it's just a wide open throw.
Sure, and Schlag there, he can't even be sure if the mark's on yet. He has to respect the move to the sideline.
Goal
Hodgson
Dingoes.
open, coming back. So Australia right away gets a break back. They pull on serve 9-9. Watson. And Kittredge drops it. Shepard quickly in transition. Looks off Evans. Pillar, bobbled. Evans. Patient this time. Pillar.
No, the wind just died.
And this is going to come back to Pillar. Kittredge had called the push-off foul on Taylor 4 seconds before the throw. Comes back to the big handler Pillar in the middle of the field. Defended by Anderson.
Pillar's a tough mismatch here for Anderson.
As a
really
thrower.
tall thrower.
Yeah.
And really done well so far this point
Ready.
in the couple exchanges that they've had to throw those around breaks in particular.
Looks to Evans. Nice D, but Chris Hill's able to get it out of the stack. Evans. Great physical D by... Great physical D. However,
But the much taller Pillar able to just
uses his height.
and he scrolled around there until stall 9, but able to get the nice floater. Another break.
Tough spot for Anderson. He plays 5 seconds of fantastic D. And you can see here, physical, tough against the much bigger Pillar. But again, the 5th move, and the big Aussie is able to get open. Floater up high, no chance. No chance for Anderson there. And 2 breaks for Australia.
This could really, in my mind, come down to something we were talking about before the half. Australia on defense able to really pick their matchups.
Yes.
They can come down and put a great defender on Bart Watson. They can put a great defender on Robbie Cahill. And really in this, and a great defender on Bo Kittredge clearly. Now USA has had a couple of mistakes that they've made that have been about them.
A Cahill and Kittredge drop.
Absolutely, but
Yeah.
part of that is facilitated by their first and second options not being open when they're used to them being open.
Watson. Simon. Jump from the Aussies. Somehow they lose track of Cahill. He's going to throw a jump ball to Kittredge, defended by Middleton. A great late bid by Matt Dowell. Not able to get there, though. Kittredge catches it on the ground.
And Middleton made a somewhat of a classic defensive mistake on the jump ball. He's a big guy, but clearly respects Bo in the air. Goes up really, really early.
But the mistake here was you can't let Cahill be free.
Absolutely not.
Boy, I love that bid by Dowell.
Love that bid by Dowell. He is such a veteran on the field. Just the way he holds himself, the way he moves. I almost think if Middleton doesn't get in his way there, he
might
makes
have
a great play on the
yeah.
disc and maybe gets one.
Something that it struck me as we watched those 2 very casual Cahill and Kittredge drops. Revolver did not approach this game as a must-win. They sat 2 starters on D, Cassidy Rasmussen and Mac Taylor, who could have played today. And in a way, this game doesn't matter from the standings. These 2 teams are likely to be paired up with either Japan or Canada should they make it to the semifinals. I'm not sure if you have a preference about those 2 teams, but I think it's affected the sense of urgency from the Team USA players. Holmes on the triple move gets open. 5 yards out. Tatum. Hammer. Goal. So casual. Blakely with the goal.
You know what's interesting about that throw? Tatum has thrown several turnovers from a similar position.
Same
We've
kinds of
harped on
throws.
him. Same
Yeah,
kinds of
yeah.
throws. But the hammer in this case, just the way it's thrown automatically flies over the stack.
Sure.
So he's not popping it up over the stack. He's throwing it up in the air.
Right.
It comes down with a lot of blade. He's able to pick the spot that it's going to come down to.
Only Blakely has a chance.
Absolutely.
Still, the guts at that point as a handler to be sitting on 3 turnovers and come back and throw the same throw a 4th time.
Dingoes are playing with a lot of confidence,
A lot of confidence.
and I think it's really doing them well.
They have nothing to lose here.
No.
They can come out, they can swing, they can take their best shot at the U.S. If they win, it's absolutely fantastic for them. If they lose, what's it cost them? Watson reaches to Cahill. Defenders on all sides.
Robbie Cahill.
Wiseman. What a catch by Cahill. Great combination of strength and athleticism to get up between Shepard and Pillar.
Good
Offhand.
chase there by the Dingoes, but
And then
Josh
Cahill.
Wiseman following the play.
Yeah,
Easy
Cahill on
goal.
the goal line, easy goal. Nice finish by Wiseman,
I think that might have been his defender
who was
pulling off the
helping
back of the stack, helping on the
to
huck.
help.
If you leave Wiseman open, he knows what to do.
No fear from the Aussies, no fear from the Americans. Watson sees Cahill going with steps, perhaps doesn't throw quite as nice a throw as he would have liked. His forehand seems like it's been a little off.
And this is still for him early in the tournament.
And the win
he's
on the
adjusting to the wind, but I would say overall, both of these teams have put the wind out of their minds a little bit.
Yeah, they're just playing ultimate
They're just
now.
playing ultimate, and they're playing with a lot of confidence on their throws, both of them.
Gibson to pull, tie game at 11s. Obi. These Obi pulls, when the pullers accept the conditions and throw that very bladey roll pull, they're able to keep them in bounds. But anytime somebody has tried to throw a pull going this way, north to south, and not blade it so it lands, it's gone OB. Tatum. Barr. Gardner. Glover.
Ashlyn Joy.
And that is the 4th turnover for Gardner. Ashlyn Joy gives it right back. Levis. Shepard. Pick, it's going to come back to Gardner, I think. Shepard called for the pick. Great D by Ashlyn Joy. And then he has Tom James wide open for the swing there and instead forces it into traffic. Hate to see somebody waste such a beautiful piece of defensive work. Shepard. Gardner. Great D by Levy. Levis. What do you think of that bid by Levy? Good choice?
That's a really tough one. I think what he was seeing down on the field was an opportunity to make another huge play.
Get a block.
And certainly this USA defense thrives on those kinds of big plays.
But once he's on the ground, the goal here is assured.
Yeah. And Tim Levis really able to see the situation evolving before Revolver can and compensate. Very cagey player, despite his youth. It's showing up here. He's able to really run in, for a tall guy in sort of a more lateral, what you would think of handler type cut, wide open for the goal.
And I think Levis's game is so characteristic of the way these Australians play, where they have a bunch of guys who aren't just handlers or just cutters. They even have a position in their offense that they call utility, and Levis fits
and
that. He's it. He's gonna run the field, but if they need him to come back and handle, he'll come back and handle. Jonah Holmes fits that role, and they're doing a great job for the Australians. Up 12-11 on Team USA. Nice pull here, Watson. Kittredge very patient. Wiseman bobbles.
Recovers.
Kittredge. Cahill moved way downfield. Has it now. Looks for Joy. Evans in.
Bart Watson with a big grab in traffic.
I'm not sure how he held on to that thing.
You saw Robbie Cahill throw that throw and then fall over backwards.
Like, I wish I'd done it.
Yeah, not like I've just been fouled, but like, oh, what am I doing? Really gets a lot of help from his teammate, Bart Watson.
Cahill moved downfield, unusual position for him. He's got Ashland Joy going. That wind on that sideline is giving them such trouble. And Bart Watson, well defended by Isherwood, but
too much.
Just great hands from Watson.
And that really is, I think, both for Bart Watson and Robbie Cahill. Those guys are dual threats.
Yes.
They both have really wicked forehands. They can throw the backhand hook when they need to, just pinpoint perfect. But also big threats going away. We've seen both of them come down in traffic with really big catches on hooks. How do you defend that?
Well, I think the Australians do the right thing.
Throw a group at it.
Throw a group at it. Exactly. They don't get one there. They didn't get one on Cahill, but that's just the star power of star power sort of about name, but it's just the talent that Cahill and Watson bring. They're going to make those plays, but if you keep bringing groups, you're going to get a block, and in this game, a block's all it's going to take. Levis.
Strip called, I think, on the mark.
Yeah, just a really tight mark by Russell Wynn. Very, very deep side stack from the Australians. Blakely set about 50 yards off disc. Tatum. If that stays in, and it's straight out of bounds. Fourth turnover this game for Tatum.
He's really having a tough game with his away looks in particular. We've seen that disc tail out of bounds now from him a couple of times.
That's the fourth forehand in a row down that sideline that has not come out like people have wanted it to.
And I wonder when they're in the middle of the field or even towards the sideline if they're feeling a little bit more wind, adjusting to it.
And then something is happening in that part of the field.
It just sails right out of bounds.
Kawoka, Canner, Joy. Kittredge, Tatum, Wynn, Bayless. Kittredge way up, gets underneath the disc. Keenan in transition. Levis. Gardner. Glover, but there's a pick. I think it's going to come back. Second turnover this game for Ashland Joy. Third turnover for Ashland Joy. Gardner with the disc at midfield, defended by Joy. Glover. Gardner. Misses going to Barr. 4th turnover there today for Gardner.
Heads up play there by Pat Bayless, just to knock it down, leave no chance.
Sherwood. Joy. Sherwood. Canner. Kawoka. Quick motion here from the Americans. All 0 pass throws. 10 of them in a row.
And the Dingoes just looked a little tired there.
A little
on that
ragged.
defense.
Bayless finally finds Wynn after 10 5-yard passes in a row, running the Dingo O squad ragged.
You know, we see a really interesting play there from Sherwood where he's throwing that flick already moving.
Already
he lifts
running.
his leg, not his pivot foot, but his off
step
leg.
leg, his step leg,
and is
yeah.
stepping as he's throwing that high release flick. Generates movement, great play.
I think the Australians a little unsettled after that offensive point. Want to call timeout, talk things over. Probably seeing the fatigue on their guys. Going to take a break. We will too. Back in a moment. Welcome back to Next Gen Ultimate's coverage of the 2012 World Ultimate and Guts Championships. Barn burner here today between USA and Team Australia. 5 lead changes so far this game. USA gets a break, pulls ahead 13-12.
Yeah, you know, one of the things we've seen a lot from Team USA is when they have regained that momentum and had that shift, right now we're seeing it happen because their superstars
Are getting it done.
Are getting it done, and they're not just getting it done by making big plays, but they're leaning on their fundamentals. They're throwing that quick throw and go. I think if they can continue to do that, they're going to come out positive in this game.
The Australians bring out a very veteran line. Dowell with the disc goes to Gardner. Shepard drops it in the middle of the field. Travis in space. The call.
Injury here again by Matt Dowell.
That
He's
shoulder
holding his shoulder like it's coming out.
giving him real trouble.
That's giving him a lot of trouble.
Directly behind him.
So it's going to come back to James, and they've subbed the defensive specialist Travis and brought in Robbie Cahill. Robbie Cahill sitting on 5 assists so far this game. Goes back to James. Canner. Cahill. The Australian D really driven the Americans back. Gibson. Canner. Gibson. James. Not much pressure on the resets from Australia. Levy. Confusion between Cochran and Cahill. Gardner picks up the block, finds Barr. Holmes. Double move by Barr. Shepard. Goes to Glover, defended by Cochran. Too far. Oof. Second Shepard turnover the point. 5 turnovers on the game.
Another kind of
Shepard.
interesting situation from that 25, 30, maybe 40 yards out position. They're going to the away ball.
And he had separation, but it was a tight window, particularly with the massive Cochran there on D.
Robbie Cahill
Not liking what he sees.
takes just a veteran timeout here.
Yeah.
USA's got a full field, and this is a really pretty big point for them.
Yeah, if the Americans go up 2 this late in the game.
Looking at 3 points to finish, and I think that their offense is clicking in a way that they can work that one out.
So as they take a break as Revolver draws up plans. Australians plot their defense. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back to the second half of Team USA versus Team Australia. USA is up 1, 13-12, looking to make it 2. Robbie Cahill, who's having a
Really fantastic game.
fantastic game with the disc, marked by Ant Dow.
On that previous USA offensive point, we saw almost a handler kind of dominator from 2 Stanford players, Robbie Cahill, Tom James, and Sam Canner getting in there. Clearly an offense that he's pretty comfortable with.
They weren't ever really able to connect with
They
the
were
downfielders.
never really able to connect with their cutters, and I think that might have been what Robbie wanted to talk about.
Gibson. Goes to Cahill. Piece by Ant Dow. And Cahill with Levy. 6 assists for Robbie Cahill. John Levy with the goal. Great strike from Kirk Gibson. They've been looking for that from him all game.
And, you know, a really almost opposing styles there. The handler set, moving it quickly. Kirk Gibson getting in on the action, standing his marker up, and just throwing a pinpoint huck.
Great bid by Dow.
Great bid by Dowell.
But what a tough defensive assignment. Robbie Cahill working as a handler, 3, 4, 5 passes, then breaks deep.
And kind of weaves his way around, bides his time, makes his way through the stack, and then takes off at the perfect moment for Kirk to be able to line that
Such
throw up.
good recognition to see Gibson with the disc, know that Gibson's got that gun of a forehand. Perfect timing from Cahill. So in another
Is my camera going super?
power pool matchup, Japan is up at half, 9-8 on Canada. Some implications for this one.
Some implications for this one. We know the top 3, Canada, Japan, USA, are going to be in the mix. I think Australia is putting on a show here as far as their contention that they should be that other semis team. If they can continue playing like this against the rest of the field, maybe even sneak one out here against USA, they're in great position for the rest of this tournament.
Dahl goes to Shepard. Jump ball again on that sideline. And Middleton!
Middleton.
They bring the young defender in, and he delivers big for the Dingoes.
And again, a really confident choice, but wow.
I'm not sure confident's the word I use, Chase.
Yeah, I'm not sure confident is the word you'd use either, Lou.
But Middleton
goes up huge in a pack.
But really, the resets were not there.
No.
A lot of confusion there for Australia.
You know what we've seen from them we've seen a lot of crisp offense
Until that point.
Until that point. And then it's like they feel the wheels coming off or something.
Part of it is their offense is really great with a lot of space.
Big lane cutters.
And I
can
think
go away, can come underneath.
And I think when they get in that 30, 40 yards out, their offense enters this sort of uncertain area. It's not end zone O, and yet they can't do what they normally want to do. And as a result, rather than sort of confidently being willing to throw 3 or 4 extra passes and maintain possession, they're throwing these jump balls into the end zone.
And they've had an element of success with them, but that can't be sustainable.
Watson with the disc.
Pick called out of the stack.
And also, for them to step to the level of USA, Canada, and Japan, they have to be better than a measure of success. It has to be total success. 1 mistake, 2 mistakes is going to be the difference in this game.
And I think we have not seen the best out of Team USA. Glimmers of it, certainly.
I don't think we've seen the best from Team Australia either, though. I think they're going to look back at this game and see a lot of opportunity for improvement. Cahill to Kittredge. In a crowd.
And
Kittredge misreads, Great hustle D by the Australians.
Really, they did just what we asked them to do several points ago, which is send
Attack
a
the
crowd.
play, and it's the third guy in with the block. Evans to pick up. Australia with a chance to tie. Holmes.
Pick called in the stack.
Great substitution choice by the Australians to bring in Holmes here. It's going to stay with Hill. Nope. Comes back to Holmes on the sideline.
A little bit of confusion down on the field, and it will stay with Holmes.
It's just a pick call, and under whiff-diff rules, it should, depending on when the call happens, determines where the disc is going to go. I think that's all they were sorting out. Denyer, big swing, with lots of room. Kittredge way off. Huge collision. Are we okay?
Denyer was really not happy about that bid from Gardner.
And
or,
he's
excuse me,
a big man, and I think Schlachit really is going to get the worst of this play. Lays out. Great focus by Denyer to maintain possession there. Everybody's okay. Schlachit will switch onto the mark. Anderson will move wide and pick up Cunliffe. Lots of switching from the Americans. Evans. And in that trouble spot, a laser from Evans to Travis.
Travel called
to Taylor.
And it's coming back.
Questionable choice given their troubles in this situation, but what a throw from Evans. What a throw. Comes back to Evans.
I think he's looking at this inside-out lane.
Foul called on Wiseman.
Great footwork by Josh Wiseman. Just not quite there quick enough. Commits a foul on the mark. I don't think he's going to contest that.
Evans flanked by Hodgson. Nice D. But finds the inside-out seam. Denyer on the goal line. Evans calls for it.
And he's got no one back.
Evans gonna call the strip on Kittredge, and it stands.
Called. Goal.
Goal. Max Evans, great working, classic defensive handler work, winning with your legs.
And I think that's exactly what they need from that position on the field. Some calm, collected handler work. They get it done with their legs. They get it done with easy break throws.
The whole way.
The whole way.
Nothing was difficult there. Let's give double credit to Evans. Not only did his work with his legs get them open for the goal, but also in a tight spot in a high count. Revolver's playing some great D on the resets. He reaches on that inside out to Cunliffe, and that really opens the whole thing up and moves him down the field.
And I love that choice more than I love even the hammer or certainly the flick or blade over the top that we've seen from them to the far side. That inside out, you're able to really, instead of needing to throw to space, you can just pop it right in there.
And it's there.
And it's there.
There's no opportunity. It's
There's
not
no
going to hang.
opportunity for the wind to hang it up.
There's no opportunity for the
there with a
defenders to
laser.
collapse on it. It's just right there.
Exactly.
(14-14). Pillar with the pull.
Really nice pull.
Schlag to Cahill. Shepard on the mark. Watson. Wiseman. Kittredge.
Hangs
Bobbled
on.
and caught. Watson. Andrew Jackson.
And a foul call.
A foul called by Adam Simon.
I think if Jackson can keep his head here
And
and
be
talk
cool.
about it, he might get this one.
Great bid by Jackson. I think Simon's calling not a foul, but a strip. And good call, Chase.
And indeed, Andrew Jackson keeps his cool. They talk about it, work it out between them. Adam Simon takes a call back. I think that was the right choice by Adam Simon. Great on him to keep his head as well.
And Shepard goes immediately deep to Jackson. 70 yards for the goal. 15-14 Australia. What a throw from Shepard.
Wow.
Unbelievable goal. 75 yards in flight.
And maybe 6 feet off the ground. Maybe.
Maybe.
The whole way.
Here's the finish.
Yeah, dude.
Great closing speed by Andrew Jackson to get out there, get under
Yeah.
it, really break away from
There's
Adam
a beautiful
Simon.
moment when he was about 30 yards from the end zone when he realized,
He's got to turn on the jets.
and he did, he had him.
Oof.
Nothing Simon can do but shake his head. Team USA calling a timeout. Double huddles from Team USA. Team USA's huddled separately here, Chase. They've got their O squad in a small huddle and their D squad in a much bigger huddle,
And they're getting chewed into.
but they're not messing up right now.
No, but I think Coach Gasquire is looking at the situation here and going, defense, we need one. We just need it. We've made some mistakes on offense. We've made some mistakes on defense. We need blocks. And they do to get out of this game. No two ways around it.
Great, fearless play from the Australians.
Even after a few, you know what, one factor I think here,
Yeah,
the wind
Was-
has died.
has died. On
It's
that throw
not
from
swirly.
Shepard, it was not there.
I think that throw at the beginning part of this game has popped up.
It's done something
Has
weird.
done something weird. Maybe it blades, maybe it turns over, maybe it pops up. We've seen still a few more floaty throws from Team USA. That thing was on a rope.
Team USA's mental game here. You think when they went up 14-12, they thought this game was over?
I think they might have. And across the board, you know, we've seen from them when they want to, they switch their personnel structurally. They bring a few of their O players onto their D line. They maybe even bring a D player or two onto the O line to interject some urgency.
Yep.
So structurally, I think when they want to close one out, that's the kind of stuff that they do, and we didn't see it there
No.
in the middle part of the second half.
And here they're playing a classic O-line.
And here they're playing a classic O-line. I really, the rest of the way in this one, wouldn't be surprised at all to see them again bring some of those superstars over the D-line if they can score this
If
point.
they can score here. Australians bringing a lot of size. Pillar, Middleton, Isherwood, Dahl.
I think what they're seeing is every time USA's in a spot, they throw a huck
They
to a
huck.
superstar.
Let's get some size in there. And Australia has brought in Tim Levis to help them on the turn.
I really like that call, especially with his legs. I think he's that guy that gets them out of that deep red zone position with his legs.
Kittredge. Anderson. Kittredge looks it off, finds Wiseman. Cahill. Schlag. Watson. Kittredge with too much room. I think Pillar got caught watching.
I think he did, and that's such just a huge mistake against Bo Kittredge. You know, I think there are several players, even at this tournament, who can match him speed for speed on the second 40 of a 70-yard sprint, but his first 40 is just unstoppable. Those first 5 steps are the quickest in the game, maybe for any player,
Sure.
let alone somebody of his size. Easy goal for Bo. making that breakaway speed separation.
4th assist for Watson. 3rd goal for Kittredge.
USA back on the horse here.
Yep. So they're tie game. They're pulling down a break. No, they're on serve on breaks. Australia receiving to start. So on serve though, but the USA needing a block and a goal to take the lead.
And really not go into the well here
Of
with their superstars.
Nope, they've played a strict D-line here. Wynn, Canner, Gibson, Sherwood, Cochran, Joy, James. 15-15, Canner with the pull. Gardner. Shepard. Holmes.
Help on the back there from Kirk Gibson.
Great D from Gibson. He read that the whole way. And he goes down hurt. He's in a lot of pain.
I think that might have been wind knocked out of him.
He's holding his knee. Here's like you see Gibson sees it the whole way, makes a break. He's going to get a great block here.
Oh, knee-to-knee contact there.
And he's going to come right down on his right knee. Right there.
And he's still down on the field. We've got trainers coming out to him. USA look like statues here.
So we're at 15-15. We are heading fairly quickly toward the cap. And USA is, after that great Gibson block, gonna get the chance to break. And we see Gibson is able to get up.
Walking off the field on his own.
It may just be a case of
I think that's a hard knock.
Just hurt like crazy. And he looks okay. Probably scary moment for Gibson, scary moment for Team USA. Looks like he's going to be okay.
He's a fighter.
Team USA brings in Bart Watson.
Excellent choice.
Great choice.
It looks like Bart's going to play from more of a handler position.
James. Great D from the Aussies. But Watson gets it going up the line. Joy. Sherwood. Great lane D by Australia. Forces a couple resets. Watson. Win. From the knees to Watson. Cochran and Tatum. Back to Watson.
What a battle. And Cochran's taking off deep.
Watson too far. 5 turnovers for Bart Watson.
I actually really love the choice. Just an error. I don't know.
I think adrenaline error from having a front row seat on that incredible
That was a really great
catch
grab
by
Martin Cochran.
Yeah.
And you saw him. He got rid of it, and he was up immediately headed for the end zone.
Yes.
He knew he had a boost there.
Gardner calls timeout. Okay. So, Chase, the cap has gone on. We are straight to 17. It's a game to 2.
This is a really, really big position for both of these teams.
Yeah.
And I think Australia, sensing the gravity of the situation, wisely calls a timeout. If you're their coach and the leaders on their team here, Lou, what are you going to say to your O squad?
I looking at the stat sheet. Gardner, Shepard, Tatum, they've really struggled with turnovers throwing those mid-range hucks. I want my team, unless they're 100% sure on a shot, to grind. Let's get Levis running. Let's get Holmes running. Have them win this point with their legs rather than trying to have Shepard, Gardner, Tatum try to win it with their throws. And by using their legs, by going to their legs, that's going to enable them to maintain possession. And at this point, they've only got to maintain possession twice to win.
I think, and looking at the situation you're in, Australia's defense has been great. Their D team has been great in spurts.
Yes.
And I agree. If you're the O team here, you're really banking on needing to score 2. You want to end on it. If you can put this one in,
yes,
you want to end on a D. But I think they've got to be banking the rest of the way for this game.
That the O squad's going to win it.
The O squad's going to win it.
Yes.
Keep the disc.
Holmes. Gardner. Takes a shot to Glover, defended by Joy. Glover! 16-15 Australia. No fear from Gardner.
Wow, that is a wonderful throw, and from a better position than I think we've seen their turnovers from. He had more of a field. He can throw that low on a rope.
The wind has died.
Laser flick. The wind has died. And what breakaway speed from the Dingoes here.
He catches it going up line.
Barely has steps.
Great trust in his receiver, Glover.
Awesome run over. Really in the middle part of that cut, broke away from Ashlyn Joy to take what ended up being just a pancake catch because of how good the throw was. Australia's in a great spot here.
4th assist for Gardner, 1st goal for Glover. 16-15 Australians pulling to win. Team USA needing to score.
And USA may be thinking different thoughts, but looking at their line, it looks like business as usual down there.
Yeah, they haven't brought any big stars in from the D-line. They're playing a straight O-line, and the Australians are counting with a straight D-line. Cahill.
Pit called in the stack.
Yeah, Evans was clipped as Watson went into his setup cut. Kittredge and Watson in space. Watson well defended by Evans. Wiseman. Simon. Cahill. Simon. Schlag. Simon. Great lane defense by the Australians. Reaches for Watson, and it's not coming back. Max Evan had been gambling.
Letting Bart Watson
go out. The second time he'd let Watson go out. Denying the under absolutely, and Simon with his 4th turnover of the game.
But by that point, Bart had really eliminated the distance between himself and the sideline. He gave Chicken a really tough look at that throw.
Partly, though, because Adam Simon tried to throw a great throw. If he'd thrown a terrible Blady forehand into the middle of the field, that's an easy catch for Watson.
Especially with the close to 20 yards
of separation
that he created with that in-out juke.
The disc never came in, so Australia will take possession at the middle of the field to win. Pillar walks the disc up slowly, flanked by Hodgson. Vertical stack from Australia, backhand force by USA. Around Evans. Pillar. Evans. Jackson.
Andrew Jackson working so hard here.
Pillar.
And there's a call on the field that's going to come back to Andrew Jackson. I think a pick out of the stack there.
The Revolver defenders are trailing 1-2 steps throughout the field. they've put a lot of time in on the field today.
More than they've seen in any other game in this tournament from this O squad, certainly.
Jackson, flipped a pillar. Chicken with a great block. Andrew Jackson, I think he made the right choice there. He just didn't throw it far enough.
Or maybe high enough. USA with its second chance now.
Simon. Kittredge going out. Schlag. Wiseman. Schlag. Watson. Cahill, nope. And Watson with a tricky little forehand, can't find Kittredge. Evans. Pillar. Denyer. Goes, looks off Evans to throw, I don't know what, and a ragged point here. Simon going to a wide open Kittredge. Andrew Jackson in half-hearted pursuit. Tie game, 2 wasted chances by the Australian D team.
And I think if you're that D team here, I mean, they must be just burnt. They played great D, and they're clearly tired, but you need to pick yourself up right now and get in the ear of those O players.
Yeah, Andrew Jackson so tired here. Out of position, not much he can do. Okay, folks, it is 16-16, game to 17. Double game point for USA, double game point for Australia. On the line for USA, Canner, James, Joy, Wynn, Cahill, Kittredge, Sherwood. For Australia, Shepard, Holmes, Levis, Barr, Blakely, Gardner, Glover. A small lineup for the Australians.
And their height kind of primarily in either that middle or handler sort of position.
Yeah, receivers, they've gone small with Glover as the primary target here. Barr. Sherwood slow to get down. Gardner. Barr. Levis. Glover. Levis. Patient offense. Shepard.
Pick called in the stack.
Nice poise by the Australians. They had a couple iffy shots that they could have taken. They opted not to. Instead, waiting a beat, finding the under to Glover, finding the under to Gardner. Barr. Glover. Quickly back to Barr. Holmes goes out, looked off. Gardner. No, Blakely with the disc. Gardner. He's got Levis, looks him off. Holmes. Hammer for the win.
Oh!
Levis puts a full hand on it. Absolutely fearless throw by Jono Holmes. Receiver Levis puts a full hand on it. USA has it after so much patience to throw that, Chase.
You have the right thrower throwing it, and you have the right receiver in the end zone, but it does not connect, and that is just, you can't understate the power of that.
Sherwood. Cahill wide open. Sherwood hangs it up. Gardner in pursuit. Barr on the front side. And Canner
comes up with a huge
following
grab!
the savage after the Mac Disc. Team USA 17, Australia 16.
And there's a call on the play.
I think Barr is calling over the back on Cahill. This may be coming back.
Australia did an amazing job there as defenders to come
No,
off the back of the
There's
stack.
no call. They're shaking hands, folks. This game is in the books. Here's the D, and Canner in pursuit. Great hustle play from Canner. Nothing John Holmes can do but hang his head. So close to one of the biggest wins in the history of Australian Ultimate. On the one end, a tip disc,
Rain starting up.
not pulled in by Levis. On the other end, great D by the Australians, and just a great hustle play by Canner in
Excellent
pursuit.
hustle by Canner.
Matt,
A player really known for his hustle comes
Yeah.
up huge right there.
Great play by the Carleton College star. Fantastic game.
Lou, I'm speechless. I think you and I, coming into this game, certainly expecting a show,
Yeah, but I would say the line was probably 5 points.
potentially. And I think we were going into this game expecting to see some of those big-time grabs that we got from the Australians for sure, expecting to see some of the stars shine for USA. But this game came down to technicalities and techniques.
Yes.
Australia, when they were crisp,
Yeah.
when they were patient on offense, when they took measured shots, they
Yes.
did have some success with not
They had some. Here's the thing, though. They had some success with those shots.
not
but-
enough.
And Game Point is a perfect illustration of that. They throw that mid-range, not 100% pass, and could it have worked?
It
could
could have. It's the hero goat.
But the point is, it didn't. And if they want to be sure that they're going to win a game like this, those choices need to be sure. They had done such a great job of being patient,
Keeping possession.
keeping possession. There was no pressure when Holmes threw that disc. He's in the middle of the field. He's going to have a great opportunity to gain yards somewhere else. Going back the other way, for Team USA, their stars played absolutely fantastic. Watson 4 assists, Cahill 4 assists, Kittredge 4 goals and an assist. But for both teams, the O squad's really struggling in spots.
Really struggling in spots. I think there were more turnovers in that game from Team USA than we've seen in many of their biggest games
Yeah.
at nationals. In somewhat similar conditions, heat, humidity, a little bit of wind. I think they came into this game having not been tested, and they were really, really tested today by the Australians. I think on the flip side, you could say the same thing for the Aussies. They haven't put together a complete performance against the highest competition yet.
And despite the troubles, I think this was a complete performance.
Certainly. They kept the momentum when they needed to. They put a stop to some of Team USA's runs
Yes.
coming back in the first and second half. And they put that game not just within reach, but within a MAC disc
Yeah.
of victory. Again, would have been one of the biggest wins of all time
Yeah.
for Australian Ultimate. I think if you're either one of these teams, though, you're coming out of this game with some energy and some momentum. I'm not sure the Australians felt until they were at even maybe within 2 points of the win that it was really in their
Possible.
grasp.
The
And I think
Glover
they're going to come out of
The
this.
Glover catch that stands out to me is the moment where they're
Definitely.
like, we can
do
game."
this.
Yeah.
And on a big turnover, came back and threw on a rope to the end zone.
Yeah.
I think both of these teams, for USA, it's a wake-up call that they're going to be tested and not just by the top two. And for Australia, it's a similar kind of wake-up call to like, hey, we can get within inches of the best team in the world. We're not just going to compete for a medal at this tournament. We're going to try and compete for gold.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk players of the game. This is a tough one for me because of, despite how well people played, big players for these teams had a lot of turnovers. Looking at the stat sheet, the same players who had lots of assists had lots and lots of turnovers, that it's really hard for me to separate that, with the exception of Robbie Cahill.
So solid. The guy's a machine. Does everything right on really from both sides of the disc offensively as a thrower and a receiver. Comes up with a couple of big grabs. Really had a great game, I agree. For the Aussies,
Can you pick one person for the Aussies?
you know, this is going to sound funny, and again, I love the big guy. I'm going to split it in half between Ant Dowell and Matt Dowell, because they came up with some plays that I think this team sorely needs, which are not necessarily the most athletic plays, but
Right.
the veteran plays. They came in on offense, they slowed it down. They came in on defense, they made some big grabs.
And even when they didn't make plays,
And even when they didn't make
they were
plays,
hustling all the time. And when your vets go out and hustle,
they're
it's-
setting the tone for your young guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think those two had big games, but I agree with you. It's really hard to pick just one. We saw command performances from lots of Australians. And again, if they can bring that kind of momentum and great, solid games from their veterans, big athletic games from their youth, and if they can cut down
on those.
on a couple of those turnovers on short field hucks,
And you know what? It's really only 3 guys.
and it's really only 3 guys. If you're a coach here in this situation, you got to be sitting those 3 down.
Well, but it's not just for those 3 guys. It's not just make better choices, but they need to address the structural piece. I think of their offense when their offense is 30 or 40 yards out. They don't want to be throwing those jump balls, but they need to find a way to move from that 30-yard range into the 10-yard range when they can really run more of a traditional end zone offense.
You know, one missing piece, I think, for both teams, we had some players who were out this game.
Sure, big defensive players.
Big defensive players for both teams that were taking a rest. I don't think their injuries are going to keep them out of future games at this tournament.
Sure.
For the Aussies, Max Wheeler, easily a block a game kind of guy. And I think on the offensive side of the disc,
That's exactly what I was just going to say.
he's going to get them out of that situation that they
I
really
think if he
struggled
played,
with.
they would have won this game. The D squad had a couple chances. You know, Denier's opportunity here to win, where he throws it into the middle of the field, right. He's got Evans wide open. I don't think Max Wheeler makes that mistake. He's going to make sure they score.
He reaches with his legs instead of with a big throw.
Yeah.
A lot of potential there. Again, I don't think we've seen the best out of either of these teams.
No.
I think as we pick up one or both of these teams in future broadcasts, we're going to see some serious firepower.
I think on that note, Chase, we're going to wrap up. Folks, we're going to take a short break. We're going to be back here in a moment in a battle in the women's division with some World Games implications for next summer in Cali, Colombia. Germany versus New Zealand coming up in about 15 minutes. For everyone here at Next Gen Ultimate, I'm Lou.
And I'm Chase.
It's been great spending time with you.